Hey guys, join your scary queens,
Chelsea,
Christian, Harry,
and Sabrina for the Witching Hour.
We will review horror,
get into some mysterious stories,
and to be honest, probably share our opinions on just about anything.
Don't be afraid to stick around. The duality.
The
Ghost ship.
sexiness that they pump into the Bridgerton men after they make them the main protagonist is crazy. We gotta study that phenomenon. Ghost ship.
This is
Okay.
the way to start this podcast. I don't focus on it a lot, but the way that Jonathan Bailey makes me feel, not the
How
way
does it
that he
feel?
looks, but the way that yes, and that's why it makes me feel that way, because you guys get so many of them,
Yeah.
and I finally.
Who are
Yeah.
you talking about?
Not that I could ever actually like be on the.
No, but it feels good, doesn't it?
The fact that it's even the slightest of a possibility because he's a gay man.
It's like when Zayn Malik.
What are you talking about?
It's like when Zayn
They're just
Malik,
They're talking about.
Hey! I have the mic. It's like when Zayn Malik and I was 12 and he was like, "I like brunettes." I was like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! I can't believe we're gonna get married." And can I tell you what's the wildest thing? Every woman he proceeded to date after that was blonde.
Yeah.
Oh, he was just trying to get the girls' goop.
So he was just lying. But can I tell you, that made my day when I was 12.
Jonathan Bailey.
He's the main guy from the second season of Bridgerton, the best season of Bridgerton, and that's not even arguable.
And so, actually, welcome to the October special of Scary Queens: The Witching Hour. Happy October 1st or 2nd. When does this come out?
The first week of October. I don't know. I didn't check.
I think
the second. The second.
The second.
So maybe suck it.
Ooh, I'm watching a hockey game tomorrow.
My birthday is tomorrow.
Oh
so everybody wish me a happy birthday.
Oh. Happy birthday tomorrow.
I will be turning.
Welcome to the first installment of the October special. We are very excited for the spooky season. We haven't done an October special in a while. I don't think we did last year, so we're excited to be back. And today's movie.
For those who don't know, that just means that we are posting 4 weeks in a row every week of October. And we're doing a bunch of good old classic horror movies. So far on the lineup for this week we're doing
Ghost Ship.
The
reason we're doing
Ghost Ship.
Chelsea's birthday was this past weekend, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and
for us right now filming.
Yeah. yes. Sorry, we usually do birthday picks for the podcast whenever we record, and Chelsea's birthday was the closest, so she wanted to do Ghost Ship, so we're doing Ghost Ship.
Ghost Ship. Woo!
Go ship.
We'll have Friday the 13th because it will be the week of Friday the 13th. Then after that, we will have Nightmare on Elm Street, which will be another good classic to review. And then lastly, we will review Halloween because it'll be near the week of Halloween.
I think literally we release that movie and then Halloween's the day after. I think we release it on the 30th.
Hell yeah.
Suck on that.
Okay, so this week we are reviewing Ghost Ship, and this is a movie from 2002. Is that correct?
I was 11.
I was 1.
Almost 1 probably.
Oh.
Chelsea.
It is from watching it is very classically a 2000s movie. Like the style of shooting it, probably the camera used, like
the music. I love the music.
2000s. Wait, so Chelsea, why did you pick this movie?
So I watched it when I was a kid when it came out, and I remember being like, "Whoa!" Like it blew my socks off. And then while we were together editing our last one, I saw a meme about Ghost Ship, and it unlocked a memory for me, and I was like, "Ooh, I want to do that one for my birthday." I haven't seen it in like a decade since we watched it now, but I like it.
Really quick review. Did it hold up? Did it meet your standards?
Yeah, for the most part, it seemed like it seemed a little spookier when I was a kid. But now we just
Right.
watched some like really messed up horror pictures. So it didn't scare
Yeah,
me as
and
much.
that we do.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do. Yes, so let's just jump right in. Oh, I also want to preface this by saying that we have busy lives and we can't always we're trying to do 4 movies in a month and it's a lot. So we didn't get to finish, like, I almost didn't get
So
to finish.
shut up about it.
Sabrina didn't get to finish this one, so
I
I am
didn't.
so excited to basically explain what happens and see her
Yeah,
reaction.
I'm a live studio audience.
Yeah.
I got to, I think, about halfway through, and then the site that I was watching it on, the legal site that I pay for,
The streaming service.
it crashed, and then I couldn't get it back up, and I had things to do later that day.
Yeah.
Things is Halloween Horror Nights, other Halloween things. But
Sabrina, you need to talk about that. I know we don't want
I
to
can't, I know, but I will pop the cherry of this
Give us a
season.
short synopsis.
Short synopsis, fucking amazing. It was so fun.
What did you get to do?
Well, there's just different aspects. Like the creativity and everything that they offer to you is really wonderful. I think the houses are really well done. The sets are just awesome, and like so many of the houses, like the actual like buildings where they are standing on. The Universal Monster House was all in France, and like a lot of it is in the opera house that like the Phantom of the Opera is in, and like Quasimodo, and then like it's so cool. And then Dueling Dragons had an awesome set. The Yeti one, gag and goop me. Love the Yeti one. It was so scary. Hey, the Yeti's huge. He is huge, gigantic. I only really got scared in the Universal Monsters and the Yeti. All the other houses weren't too bad. And then the Stranger Things house was really good too.
Did you just scream through the houses, just one breath scream?
No, I didn't actually. I was actually very good, and I wasn't very scared in the other houses. The only house that I did that in was the Universal Monsters house again, dude.
Again? What is it?
It was fucking wild. It was so scary. It was a lot of drapes because it's a opera house, so it was a lot of drapes on drapes, and there's so many things on top of you.
I do. Those do really get me, like the sensory parts when it's like I'm touching stuff. I'm like, I don't want to touch this.
It's like the bug one last year where they had like little strings that would, like hit your face. Yeah.
That one was the worst for me.
The difference is I've gotten really good at like copying where they're gonna be. So if there's walls and then it suddenly is a dip, I know that there's gonna be someone there. Or if it's a solid wall, I know that no one's gonna come through the solid wall unless it's like that meshy thing, and then I know somebody's coming through the mesh. But because it's drapes, I don't know where anybody's coming out. That was crazy. That made me, oh my God, I'm like sweating thinking about it. Loved it. But the only personal gripes I have is it is so very expensive this year. That is, I think that's really fucked. I see where the money went, but Jesus Christ, bleeding you out. And there's so many goddamn people. Usually if I stay till 2 a.m., I've done every single house. I've stopped multiple times. I've ridden rides. I've gotten food. I'm telling you, back to back, I had to poo. Sorry, TMI. I had to poo for 2 hours straight, and I didn't want to go because we were just going back to back to back to house. I didn't stop to get any food. I went to the bathroom at lightning speed. And I only got to do 6 houses. So
out of how many?
Out of 10.
Okay.
And I just think I was there the whole time. So I just think that's wild when you're there from 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m. to 2 o'clock in the morning, and you only got to do 6 of the houses. Is kind of crap. And that's with not enjoying any of the food booths. Too many people. I think they're selling too many tickets per night. I don't know if that's a thing, but yeah. But that's my synopsis. Really fun, really beautiful. The merch this year, Chelsea Sue. You would eat it up. It's all like purple, and like they have Basset, which is like the cat, the Egyptian cat. She's on everything.
Oh yeah.
And like I don't know, a lot of occult looking stuff. Really cool novelty item. And Last of Us. I know a lot of people like The Last of Us. I just started watching the show with Pedro Pascal. I probably won't play the video game just because I am a pussy. So but I would, and
the show is good though.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend and they told me like this is like the game came out in like the 2000s. Like this is there's like a fan base that has been on this shit. So yeah, really cool. I thought the house was really well done.
I think it's episode 4.
The gay one? Is that the gay one? Yeah. I'm excited. I'm on episode. I literally just finished episode 1. Hey, why was it 7 hours long? That's okay.
They're very long.
It is 7 hours long, but it's
So
good.
long. But that was HHN. Love.
Well,
Beautiful.
thank you so much. That's amazing. I'm envious.
And that's all you're gonna hear from Sabrina for the rest of this episode.
I know, that's all I have to contribute.
I'm envious that I don't get to go, but hopefully I'll get to share stories from up here in Salem before you guys get to visit. So that'll be good. Also, just wanted to say back to Ghost Ship. I was looking at the Google just as Sabrina finished, and it's rated R.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that part. Yeah.
Ooh, I can't wait to see what we saw.
Yeah.
Sabrina, you're missing out.
You're gonna want to finish the movie when
Let me pull my phone up. Maybe as you guys are talking about it, I'm gonna scrub through. I have it on my phone here now.
Yes.
I had a friend that hooked me up.
So we start and we meet this crew of people, and they are what's the word that they use? Like the term, their job.
Well, no, we open on on Antonio Garza.
We open on Antonio Garza, an Italian ship.
We do open on Antonio Garza, sorry.
Which is Antonia Grazza. But
in the
I just like to say Antonio Garza.
Yeah.
1962.
Oh, I loved the opening for this. It reminded me of the opening for Sabrina, the movie. If you ever saw it, it's the Sabrina movie from the 90s with Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Yes. It opens and it's like really serene, and the writing reminds me of either like Bewitched or something. It was that kind of like script. It's beautiful.
Pink. It was pink too. It did not match what the movie
is. It was so cute. It was giving different vibes. But whatever that movie is, I also want to watch.
This is the poster for the movie, but the text.
Go ship.
Anyway, so
it gave me very much Rosemary's Baby, because like the intro is like Rosemary's Baby and cute little pink font. And hey, it's the devil. It's the devil.
But they're like, we're on the Disney Dream, and all the fancy wealthy people are hanging, and like the crew is also hanging, and this lady is singing in Italian in a red dress, very Jessica Rabbit moment. And you see a gloved hand flip a switch, and then this wire starts like unspooling, and girl
mama,
the spool like snaps, and it literally just cuts everybody in half, except the little girl,
because she's short. Yeah.
Literally,
the metal wire that people use to like hold shit up with, like extreme metal wire, snaps the spool and like swipes the entire deck mid-level, and it just cuts everyone at torso.
And like nothing, everyone is like still and silent at first, and you're like, oh my god, and then all of a sudden people start bleeding, and then they just like like slide apart
their own bodies.
And
it literally looked like a freaking, like when you slice fruit in Fruit Ninja.
It was
like that exact imagery, but it's people.
Literally. And then there was some good special effects here, where like there was a woman with half her body cut off, and then she's like grabbing towards her legs, and it looked like it was actually her body torn in half. It was really cool.
Which, like, what are you gonna do at this point, girl?
Right. Exactly.
Push them together. Like, I don't know what she was trying to do, but it's okay.
Then it moves into the timeline to present time, and this is when we meet the crew of whatever they're called. I don't remember
Salvagers. Yeah, they're
essentially they're like the Fast and Furious crew, but make it boats.
For boats.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
They are La Familia. They got their Vin Diesel. You know what I'm saying? There's the what's her name? Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Whatever her character's name. Letty.
Yeah.
There's the Letty of the crew. Yeah. That's the vibes they were given.
But they like salvage old boats, I guess, and like bring them in for money and shit. And so we see them first, and they're like in the middle of like rescuing this boat from like sinking. What's the not solder?
Welding.
They weld the hole shut, and they save the ship. And she's like, no, we've been with this ship too long to let it, blah, blah, blah. And then they save the boat, and they're having like a celebratory dinner.
Mhm.
And this young feller comes along. Does anyone want to talk about? the
He's
feller?
like, you guys want to see a ship?
No, he doesn't want to.
Why does he talk like that?
He's actually like a young dude, and he's like, hey y'all, I found this big old ship in the middle of the Bering Sea.
Yeah,
Who
he's
want to go?
an airplane pilot, and he like saw
Yeah.
as he was flying.
Yeah, he's like, who want to go poke around in it with me? And they're like, meh. And he's like, it's an international waters, whatever you find is yours. And they're like, oof,
Mhm.
that's tempting. So then they decide to like, they negotiate how much they'll pay him for whatever they find. And he's like, I have to go with you. As part of the negotiating. So they're like, all right. And then they decide to go check out this big old boat in the middle of the ocean. It's like a famous boat too. It's like one that people know of, but they've never been able to find.
Yeah, because
Oh, the
our
name
main
was really
guy,
pretty. I forgot what the name was.
Antonio Garza.
Is that the
Grazza, not Garza.
Okay.
Antonio
It's
Grazza.
Antonio Garza, the YouTuber. Yeah, it's named after her.
And Christian said that because he read the name funny, and Chelsea was like, "Oh my god, he's in this movie!"
Oh my god,
She's in this
But,
movie.
I didn't know.
So they get onto the waters, onto the sea, and then obviously I had to find the guys who were hot, sexy, hot, sexy, hot, sexy.
Oh, that's all Harry kept saying the whole time.
Yep, and
Mhm.
there's a guy called Santos who is
You
hot,
thought
sexy, hot, sexy.
you thought they
Also,
were hot and sexy?
I
The
thought Santos was hot
mechanic.
and sexy,
He
and
liked
the
the
blonde
mechanic.
guy was hot and sexy.
I'm not
I
with you with the blonde, but
see.
I do agree with Santos.
I see what you're saying, but I just think because they were all, maybe by association, they were all dirty and grimy. I didn't think anybody was attractive.
Yeah.
I was like, these are all dirty, grimy men.
Sometimes my brain likes a dirty grimy. You know what I mean?
Wow. Okay.
So I found out. I just researched and I found out. So the guy who plays Santos plays like a Mexican man, and he like has the like Mexican American accent and everything. And he's an Australian actor.
Wow.
He nom 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 ate that up, dude. That's so
Damn.
good.
Also, I mean, it was 2002, so it's fine. But like, hire a Mexican actor. You know what I mean?
Oh, I didn't see that's where we were going. Sorry. But I thought chops.
No, but he did. He did. I would have thought he was Hispanic too. Look, I got a picture of him. He's so.
Yeah.
He
Maybe
looks
you'll think
super
he's
Hispanic.
So now he's gonna talk to you in like a Hugh Jackman
does, yeah.
accent.
Ew. Why would you say that?
I don't
Because
know.
that's
Also,
the
Hugh
accent.
Jackman divorce. Anyway, continuing.
Because they
Boss babes.
Because what? Because what? No, tell me really quick.
Oh, people think he's gay, and that's why he divorced. Thought you were gonna say.
Oh.
No,
Yeah.
but
Oh.
that can't be true.
I didn't know that.
Respectfully.
it can't be true from the man who does show tunes and tap dances and is
Oh,
on
what are we
Broadway.
saying now?
Oh,
Chelsea?
but that's
What are we
okay.
saying now,
Okay.
Chelsea?
It's quite a lot to assume.
Oh, that's an
that
old
he's-
stereotype.
but
I'm
bitch-
gay. Gay
We're
recognized gay.
getting.
Saw gay, said gay.
We are getting into.
Okay, yeah.
But okay.
Let's continue. Let's continue.
But 27 years, my guy.
Yeah,
27
that's
years.
27.
I've seen people on Dr. Phil with more.
Hey, if we get to 27 years, I'm just killing you. We're not divorcing. I'm just
I
murdering
Whoa.
I used to
Hey.
work with a lady that her husband just one day they had grown children in college. Her husband said, "You know what? I ain't never liked you."
But okay,
you. Guys, I really can't talk about this. This is gonna make me roll around in bed tonight.
no,
And
but hear me
then
out.
now he
last
has a
thing.
boyfriend.
Yes.
Last thing I'm gonna say. Hugh Jackman
Huge.
is in the world.
Ackman.
Huge Ackman is in the world of Hollywood, where if he was gay, and he all of a sudden felt like he wanted to tell people, he's in an environment like in Broadway, in Hollywood. He's in environments where like people are gonna be like, okay, sick dude. So I don't see why he wouldn't say that and wouldn't be like, actually, I'm gay. Like, guys, this happens.
Well, he
whatever.
can now. 27 years ago, he couldn't.
Well, no, I feel like even then, but
I mean,
whatever.
people have different situations. You don't know his home life, you don't know his family, you don't know his actual feelings, you know? So who
Yeah.
knows?
Anyway, okay. So
But anyway, sorry, Hugh Jackman. But
Santos was hot, and then there was a bunch of other people. Anyway, Santos was driving the boat. They're out going to the Antonio Garza, and they see Santos sees on the radar that the ship is there, but when they look out, there's
It's
no ship.
not. They're like, what the
So
freak?
Murphy, the guy who
also, mind you, I made a note of this. I made a note of this. Their ship is called the Arctic Warrior, but I called it in my head the Arctic Monkey.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
we
I
got
like
the
that.
Arctic Monkey rolling up to the Antonio Garza
Okay.
We got
because
so picture this. Arctic monkey in the ocean.
Arctic
Antonio
monkeys.
Garza in the ocean too.
We
but you can't.
said knee socks.
I-
Exactly.
That's it. Just knee socks.
So then
Oh, what you want me to go off on all of them?
everyone's like, oh my gosh, the computer's not working, the computer's glitching, what's happening? And then all of a sudden, bitch, they look
Ow.
up and they're flying at the speed of light towards Antonio Garza.
And they're
And-
on a boat this big. The ghost ship
Oh, no.
this big.
Yeah, why did she just develop an accent?
What?
I don't know where that came from.
They're on a boat.
But
I thought I said it normal. They're on a boat.
no, you
this
sounded
big.
like freaking
no.
homegirl. What's her
No.
name? Celine Dion.
Oh.
What
You
did
sounded
you
like
Where's
Celine Dion.
Celine Dion
say,
from?
Harry?
Where's Celine
Can-
Dion from?
Canada.
Canada, but
Isn't
French,
she like Canadian or
That's
something?
what her accent is.
she's
She's
French
French
Canadian.
Canadian.
I think she also has her own thing. Like I think
Harry,
it's
what
French
did you
Canadian,
think
but then it's a subsection
But it's also
of
Celine
just
Dion.
Celine
Yeah.
Dion.
Like
You
Cher.
know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's
Like
the
Cher.
queen.
Cher
It's
doesn't
like-
She
sound
has
like that because she's from where
she
she's
has
from.
like stiff person syndrome now.
She does.
So
All
I
of a-
said to the guy,
All of a sudden, we crashed into the Antonio Garza, the big ass ship in our little tiny fucking dinghy. And they're like, whoa, what's happening? And then he reads the name. Murphy is one of the people that, like Chelsea said, knows the lore of the Antonia Grazza. And he's like, oh my God, it can't be. And then the girl on the team, her name was Maureen, but I don't remember her last name.
Maureen.
Oops or Eps or something.
Yeah, they call her by
Epps.
her last name. It's like Epps or something.
Epps.
Eps.
And she's like, oh, do you know the ship, Murphy? And he's like, only in dreams. So like he's known about it. He knows the lore. And then they get on the ship and they start exploring. And of course they leave the guy who told them about the ship behind in the boat. Because they were
Yeah.
like, you know, they need assurance that he's
Mhm.
not gonna go in there, take what he wants, and then like, I don't know, threaten them or whatever.
Mhm.
So like, you stay here, we'll go explore. They go explore and they find some cool shit. What happens next, y'all?
The guy falls through the floor
Yes,
because
one of
it's
the guys
squishy.
Oh yeah.
This boat's been out here for decades.
literally.
Guy falls through the floor. They're holding on to him. Don't let go. Don't let go. And then this girl
Who's
holding on to him looks over. Little girl standing on the staircase,
yeah,
just staring at them.
Staring
and she's
right
like,
into her soul.
yeah.
and
it's
she's like, what the heck? And then
picture-
she's gone.
If this were a two-story situation, they're on the second story, the guy falls through, and then Miss Girl Epps is holding on to him from the second story. And as she's like looking through the hole, holding on to him, she looks over on the first floor staircase, and the little girl was there. So it was like nobody else could see it but her. So she's like, am I going crazy? What's going on?
Mhm.
So they're like, you know what? Let's go back, regroup, and then decide what to do. So they go back on their own ship, and then they're talking, regrouping, planning. And then the guy who found the ship and told them about it goes up to her and is like, hey, you look a little tousled. Are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. No, it's fine. He's like, no, like, what's up? And she's like, okay, I think I saw something that I shouldn't like be seeing. It's
Mhm.
impossible. He's like, no, what did you see? And she's like, I saw a little girl. And he was like, oh my God, no way. She's like, yeah, whatever. Anyway.
And he had the most horrid response, to be honest. He was like, you know, sometimes when I'm flying for too long, I start seeing stuff too. He
Mhm.
basically was like, it's okay, girl. I know you are just tired and crazy.
Yeah.
And she was
Literally.
like, wow, that was so validating. She was like,
Literally.
thanks, actually, that was so fun. Thanks, bye.
It's like when you tell someone something traumatic or something that's like worrying you, and they're like, no, that happens to me all the time. It's like, I don't care about you. I'm going through
Right.
something.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it
So
your moment.
was very not.
So
Did
then
not validate her feelings in that moment.
they make a plan. They go back on the boat. They all start spreading around. They separate. They're looking around. One of the things that happens is that one of the guy, what was his name?
Greer.
Greer is walking around and he starts hearing this woman's voice coming through his radio and just throughout the boat. He's like, y'all.
She's like, Scooby, Scooby, Scoob.
Yeah, she starts a sexy singing.
Looby dooby da.
I did see this part. So like when he walks up to this piano, and there is a lit cigarette. Can I tell you, lit cigarette with lipstick on it? And Epps is not like a girly girl, very like one of the boys. So he was like, when did Epps start wearing lipstick? Weird.
Yeah, why is there lipstick on my cigarette?
And they keep finding things like that. Like earlier, they had found a digital watch, which was weird because the boat got lost in 1960s and they didn't have digital watches.
Right.
And sorry, my cable car is.
For y'all that don't know, Harry has moved into an area that's right next to a little cable car station. So every once in a while, if you hear that, we're sorry. He literally can't do anything about it.
But also,
these
so
are your
in a new city, so like suck it up, Buttercup. So they keep finding things like that. Like Murphy goes into the captain's room and he finds like a fresh poured glass of whiskey. He's like, that's weird. They find that digital watch. So like they're finding
suspicious.
some creepy.
Yeah, some little clues.
Yeah, and they're like, somebody else has been on the ship since the
someone
60s.
Cooked here.
Yeah, and they're like, why hasn't anybody reported it, taken it? Because like people are actively looking for this wreck.
Yeah,
it's weird.
And then the guy's only
also
answer
one of
was
the
like,
other weird things that happened.
No, it's okay, you go.
Sorry,
what was that?
we both said after you. I'll finish. It was really
when you hold a door open.
One of the
people are just standing there like, who's gonna go?
I was gonna say one of the other things that was weird was they found a little toy that we saw at the very beginning. The little girl was playing with on this ship, and she spelled out "I'm so bored" with the letters. And then when they get on the ship, the first weird thing that happens is that those letters rearrange and it says "Welcome aboard," which they don't see, but we see as the audience. That gives us the clue of like, hey, something's off.
Also, what the fuck is that toy?
Ghost ship. It's a kid's toy.
Yeah.
It's a ghost ship.
I know, but the fact that you ended up saying it right after I said
you know what? I didn't catch that. I gotta see this.
Yeah,
this was when they first got on the ship.
Yeah,
when they first get on.
It was a weird toy. It was like Scrabble, but like you can lift it.
They were attached. Yeah,
attached was weird.
It was interesting.
And that is this when they go to the laundry room and the corpses fall out?
Yeah,
they're like,
that was crazy.
La, and they open the door, and it's the bodies of the people that were trying to salvage it before them, so they died on there, and they're like, that's crazy, but like we should get off, but first let's steal some stuff.
Well, they tried to get off, but the door they came through closed by itself, and
it closed behind them,
so they had to keep going through where the bodies came from. So they keep going.
Oh, I see.
They find this like where I guess the freezers were when the boat was still a thing. And then they get there, and then two of the guys from the crew had hidden there, and then they scare Epps. So it's like a hee hee ha ha funny moment. Anyway.
Yeah.
And then
they find the gold before that, because then they tell them.
Oh yeah, they do find the gold in the room where
after they go through that little Yeah, they go through that little section. They see some wiggling. She's like, "What's that? What's going on?" She kicks it open. Hey, rats!
All the rats
many.
you could ever
Everywhere.
imagine. Yeah.
All of them at the same
Oh,
time.
This is
the
an
also
rat
ancient
scurry.
inbred colony of rats.
Ew.
Also,
Right.
we skipped over it because it doesn't really mean anything. It's just another spooky ookie. The blood pool. She tripped in this pool when she saw this little girl.
Oh,
She
that's
fell
right. That was
backwards
before this.
into
Oh yeah.
this pool, and
Hmm.
I guess maybe her head bled a little bit, and it like
And
leaked
the-
into one.
And the boat sucked her blood.
It's
And
a
it
And then it
sucked
said, "Oh,
up.
that's great. That's all I need to fill this pool." So then it started
Yeah. It's like,
leaking
"Thank you
out
for
of
that
all these
drink."
holes, which
yeah.
look like bullet holes. There's a bunch of like holes
Yeah, I think it
in
was.
the pool,
Mhm.
and then it fills up with blood. Crazy
Yeah.
visual.
Blood
visual,
pool.
awesome.
I call that my shower dream.
You guys
That
will-
is gonna be a reference to next week's episode. Anyway, y'all don't know it yet, but she just cooked. Anyway, so so they go, the rats scurry. The rats scurry, and underneath is a bed of gold in this crate.
Yes, it's
Gold
full
bars.
of gold.
Mhm.
I'm looking at it right now.
And they were like, Yahtzee. This is
Yahtzee.
amazing.
So they're like,
For
we gotta get out of
real.
here. That's when they find the other two. They do the little spooky haha prank, and they're like,
Yeah.
guys, y'all gotta see this one.
Yeah, check this out. And she whips out one of them gold bars out of her pocket. And Harry was like, why is she acting like that doesn't weigh a million
Christian.
pounds?
Yeah,
Or is that what she said?
Yeah.
I said that. She whipped it out like it was a Hershey's bar. She said, "Oh, by the way, there's a gold bar." I said,
When in reality, it would be like "Dunk" when you set it on the table.
she would be. She would have fell through the floor like that other guy.
Yeah,
with the gold-
she would have been walking sideways the whole time.
It would have ripped her pockets.
Literally.
So then they all regroup and they all mind you, this whole time they use radios to communicate. The radios have been really weird and spotty, but they
Yeah.
all regroup in the room where the gold is, and they're like, okay, let's make a decision. Especially Murphy, because he was like really into the whole exploring the boat idea. They were like, we salvage this boat, take it somewhere, or we just take the gold, much easier to transport, and we get the fuck out of here.
Oh,
then they
also
all-
the ship is heading for like a bunch of rocks.
Yeah.
And we got to do this now or never, because it's gonna
It's
hit the
also
rocks and
sinking.
sink. Yeah, it's like slowly. She got a leak in her, a slow
Yeah.
leak. So like, there's a lot of things we gotta move fast, but they know they ain't leaving that boat without that gold.
But the money is kind of sketch because that white guy says that the tracking number or whatever the like
No.
Oh,
engravings,
this
logo,
markings
the label,
and the
the marking.
serial
Yeah.
number.
the markings have been
Not the
shaved
the
off.
tracking number.
Sorry.
Number
Sorry.
of the gold
That's
in the
so
1950s.
embarrassing. Actually, that's so embarrassing. Whatever. I'm a
Sorry, I had
21st
to comment,
century
'cause it was really
baby.
funny.
Okay, leave me alone.
She said the
Oh.
QR code on this is off.
But you know what I was thinking? I was like, to take that off, that's also gold. So do you just like, do you shave it into a bowl? Like, what are you doing?
You have to like literally like grade it off basically. Or
Yeah.
like
So like, what are you taking the
sand
shaving?
it off.
I'm assuming that they're not saving the shavings with the amount of bars that they have.
I'm
it's like
greedy. I'm a
boxes.
greedy little.
She
rat.
she gonna keep
You know
that
what I mean?
dust.
I'm a
Let me
Okay.
keep
keep
that dust.
I went to
Let me
Rat
keep that
Island
dust.
and all of them knew you.
I'ma keep that dust. Keep the dust.
I'm gonna keep that
Keep that
dust.
dust. I'ma keep the dust.
Hey.
I'm gonna keep that
Ah,
dust.
keep
the
it.
dust.
Keep
Okay,
the dust.
okay.
Keep-
And then
keep the
they're
dust.
outside and it's nighttime.
It's been nighttime this whole time. But anyway, so they're like, okay, let's start moving this shit onto our boat. So
Yeah.
Let me keep that bar. Sorry, continue. And so they bring the
Greer
bring the
and
bars. They're trying to
Santos-
move it.
Santos had to fix a part of the engine on their boat, so he was doing that. He finally fixed it, and then Greer got on to like start the boat, and then something next to Santos, as he's celebrating that they're about to leave with gold, starts to twist the
Propane tank.
Propane
propane
tank.
tank open, so it starts to release a bunch of gas, and then they're like, "Okay, Greer, start." I keep forgetting his name.
Fire up.
Greer is fired up, fire this baby up. And he's like, all right. And as he's about to, the little girl from the boat
The
talks
ghost
to
ship.
Epps again, is like, no, don't let him start it. If he starts it, it's gonna, and then something tackles her off of the
Tackles
ship.
tackles
Yeah.
her. Linebacker tackles her down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Knocks her
And
clean
so
out.
Epps doesn't get to hear what she says, and also is like, yo, what is this little girl?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And as he
And
shakes,
Santos is like sniffing, and he said, "Wait a minute.
And then he said,
Wait a minute."
Kablowie.
kablowie
Mhm.
indeed. Greer starts that ship, and that shit explodes like the 4th of July, baby.
And then he is just on fire.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Santos.
ah,
He
ah, ah.
is. He does get lit on fire.
Y'all ever went to that show at Hollywood Studios where they used to do cars and then the guy would be set on fire?
Mhm.
Yeah, it was that.
Yes.
It was
That's
that.
what it was given. And he
Bless
comes
it.
in, baby died. But then Miss Epps is like, no! And she jumps close to the
Hey,
fire
would you not die? She jumped from the top floor of the Titanic into the middle of the
Into
ocean.
the dinghy.
Just
Into the
saw
dinghy,
that.
girl.
Hey, no hesitation, babes. I love you guys.
Hey,
Can I tell you?
I'm
hey, I love you
hesitating.
guys
He's
so
gone.
much.
He's gone.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
Can I
I'd be
tell
like,
you?
I'm
hey, we
hesitating.
lost them.
There were
He's
3
gone.
people.
Guys, I'm so scared of the ocean. I'm like so scared of the ocean. Like I would rather perform an exorcism than jump into the deep waters. Hey, with
There were-
sharky
Was
poos.
it you? Weren't you the same? Weren't you the same person who said that you would teach someone else how to do the exorcism and get to
Yeah.
push them
Yes.
in the room instead
Yes,
of doing
yeah.
the exorcism?
I would.
So
That's my ideal situation. If we're on crunch hours like Ed and Lorraine, I'll pull it together. But
okay.
what I won't pull together is jumping off the side of the Titanic into the deep waters for a dinghy that just sank to the bottom.
Literally, and there were 3
Yeah.
people on the boat.
Yeah.
One of them died, so 2 of them were still alive. I would have been like, damn, they all died. That's crazy.
I know. I'm sorry. I would have been like, oh no, my friend.
100%.
It's crazy.
Respectfully, I'd be like, oh, she passed away. Like,
Yeah.
James.
Yeah.
She fucking jumps into the ocean 5,000 feet from the air and saves Greer and the other guy. And then they all get back on the ship and they're like, what the fuck do we do now? And she's like, well, we have to try and salvage this ship because
That's our only way. And we have to get it
And
to
then
work.
Greer is like, nah, fuck that. And she's like, okay, so then what else, Greer? The fuck else? And then
What literally else would we do?
he starts fighting with the other guy. He punches the shit out of his face.
Clocks his sheet
Hard.
crazy.
So they're like, she, of course, puts some sense into all of them and is like, okay, y'all go do this, and you do this, and y'all do that, and then we do this, and then we're going to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So they start on their plan. What happened after this, y'all?
They all start dying. This is when they discover the bullet holes in the pool.
Okay. I haven't seen this part yet, so now this is new content. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is when they find like the bullet holes. Oh hell, bullet holes in the pool. I clicked my mouse by mistake. They also see a skeleton hanging in one of the rooms by a noose.
No, listen. Yes, so they are exploring, and the little what's her name? Epps goes through the records, finds the little girl's name, and she starts walking through the hallways.
Katie.
And she calls the little girl's name,
Katie.
And then all the doors of all the staterooms start closing, like through the hallway, and she's freaked the fuck out. And then one of them opens, and it's Katie's room. So she goes into Katie's room. She starts seeing all the dolls. When she opens Katie's closet, she sees that the way Katie, because Katie didn't die when everyone got sawed in half. The way Katie became a ghost girl was because it was self-inflicted.
She was the one hanging
by a rope in her own closet because she was left alone.
What are you gonna do?
Oh yeah, girl, what you gonna do?
So and then Katie shows up because Epps takes off the locket from her body and opens it, and she's like, oh my god, those are my parents. I haven't been able to open it since I passed away because she's a ghost. She can't touch things.
Right.
Katie, Epps tries to give it to her, and she sees that it just goes through Katie's hand, and she's like, oh my god, you're actually a ghost. Which don't know why that was the thing.
The little girl in the doll dress. She was just vibing on the fucking boat.
Yeah. So then she's talking to this little girl, and little girl's like, talks about how her and her shipmates are still on the ship or something like that. I don't remember what brought the conversation on. She was like, yeah, some of us are marked, so we couldn't pass on to like with our families. And then Epps was like, what do you mean marked? And then talks about how basically like some of their souls are reserved for hell, basically, and they're marked.
And once they get enough of them, then they're gonna go on the ghost ship to hell.
Yeah. So this person is collecting ghosts.
Sabrina, for those of you who are watching, Sabrina's gagged and gooped.
I'm gagged.
So
Hey, what crazy lore.
Yeah, so this little girl couldn't pass on because she was marked. And then as she's telling
hey, who marked her? What the fuck? She was alive for 2 years.
We'll get there.
She's this big.
So then she's talking to Epps about this. Something like you hear a noise, and then for Katie, the like ceiling starts to be covered in these weird like
starts craggling,
red, whatever, and the walls. She starts to freak out, and then Epps is like, "What's going on?" She doesn't see it, but Katie gets freaked out, and then Katie disappears. And then Epps is like, "Okay, what the fuck is going on?" Meanwhile, what's his name? Greer is still like distraught that the ship is fucked up and they can't go back, and he was like, I knew this was a bad idea, we should have turned around, it's all my fault. And he's like, he hears
and their window is like 3 days
or they hit rocks
to fix the entire shit.
So he's like, oh fuck. And then as he's again in the like foyer area, in the piano area, it all starts to like go back, and like the tables start to like come together and plates on them, and then people start to appear and they're all clapping, and he's in the middle, and he looks around and he sees the girl in the red dress who sang at the beginning, and she goes up to him, and he's like, he has a fiance that he starts talking about since the beginning of the movie.
This was like, insane.
And and then he's like, because men are trash, he's like, well, I guess it doesn't count. Yeah, I'm not cheating on my fiance if it's with a ghost girl. He
literally says that right before he goes in for the kiss. He said, I mean, you're like a dead ass ghost, so it doesn't really count.
Partially because he feels like there's no other way out, like he feels like he's basically dead already, and then also because he's a man and he sucks. But then he kisses this lady, and they make out in front of everyone, and yada yada yada. And then it cuts between scenes, but I'm gonna just continue with him. He like starts to follow her, and she starts to walk up a staircase, undoes her corset as she's walking up, and he continues to follow her. Eventually he follows her into another room. She has no corset on, and we're seeing things.
We see boobs.
Full frontal.
We're probably skipping through some things because I forget what happened.
That's okay.
But yeah, full frontal. And then he finally is like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna go up to her. He takes off his jacket, he's starting to take off his belt, and he's gonna like hug her. She's like in a door frame. He's gonna hug her. And then as he goes to hug her, he falls through because she's a ghost, and then he falls down the elevator.
It's the elevator he was looking at earlier, wasn't it?
Yes.
He was looking at this elevator earlier. He was like, oof. Girl, I can't wait to see it.
So then he meets his fate. He falls through the elevator shaft all the way down, and he dies. So
all the way down.
Santos is gone.
Rip in peace.
And he says.
Yeah, so then what happens after? Oh, at this point, Murphy is also distraught. He's like, damn, I led my team astray, and now we're all
he's going
now
through
we're dying.
it because he's like, this is all my fault. He's drinking that 80 million year old whiskey that's like maybe fresh, maybe 80 million years old. He's in like the captain's quarter. Why can't I speak? I was trying to say captain. I wasn't even trying to say captain. In the captain's quarters, and he is looking in the mirror. He sees the old captain in the reflection of the original ship, and then he's like, oh shit, he's freaked out. He drops his glass, and he's like, oh, something's going on. So this is like the first time he's seeing some supernatural stuff go down. And then he sits down, or remind me if I'm skipping, but he sits down with the dude, right?
So the first part happened at the very beginning when they all witnessed weird shit, and then he sits down again after they're all like, fuck, the ship is fucked. And he sits down with the captain, and the captain starts talking to him, and then he basically tells them about the Lorelei, and he's like, oh my god, I know about the Lorelei, which was another ship that was sinking, and the ship that they're on, the ghost ship, this was like 2 days before the ship went missing. They picked up all the passengers from the Lorelei, which is where like the golden stuff came from, to help them because the ship was sinking. And he's like, gosh, no fucking way, you guys helped the Lorelei. And then the captain was like, yeah, we did. So that explained all the gold.
Were the people on the Lorelei fucking awful?
Yeah, because the gold was stolen.
Oh.
Which is why it was the label, or the, I guess.
And didn't he make a point because he was like, there were no survivors on the Lorelei or something, like documented.
Yeah.
Or something like that. He said something about that.
No survivors.
So that's like groundbreaking lore is happening.
Yeah.
So then the blonde guy, who we haven't named, but just the blonde guy who was hot along with Santos, is like working on the ship. She just experienced Epps just experienced everything with the ghost girl. The guy who helped them find the ship obviously is still there and is just roaming around the ship. And then we have one of the other guys, who was the one who got punched by Greer at the beginning. He was tasked with, because he's the welder, tasked with fixing the hole that was making the ship sink. So he's down there, he's in a scuba gear, and one of the gears starts to work on its own, and it like starts to pull him towards it underwater, and then he gets consumed by it and like chewed up by these gears underwater. So he dies. So clearly something is slowly killing them off. Something is collecting these souls. These
ghost slasher going on.
Yeah.
I love it.
Then, when she's talking to the little girl and the whole like crazy shit goes on, what makes her run away? Something makes her run away with the little girl. Epps and the little girl run away.
The little girl starts like giving her flashbacks to the past, where she sees like the crew turning on the guests on the ship, because the crew ends up like being the ones that killed everybody. So the crew did the wire thing, and then they
on purpose.
Yeah, because they wanted the gold.
That's what, can I tell you, wild dedication. Let me just wipe out a whole cruise trip.
And then they like poisoned everybody with the food, whoever wasn't like up there, and then the rest of them, they took them into the pool and shot them. And then they're the ones that killed Katie too.
I thought it was something like that, but she didn't kill herself.
No, the crew kills her.
I must have not.
But then the crew starts also turning on each other, because like the jazz singer lady was in on it, and then like everyone starts double crossing each other and like shooting at each other, and then finally,
this is what happens. The lady in the red dress, the singer, is in one of the rooms of the ship getting ready to basically like have all the gold, and this guy comes up behind her and like sort of caresses her and turns her around. Does he kiss her? I don't remember.
Yeah, they're obviously together. Like,
yeah, so he like are together, and then he like makes a hook in that room release, and it like grabs her on the face and like swings her from her face, from her jowls, and that's how she dies.
Grabs her.
Yeah, it releases, it swings down, it grabs her around basically the jaw, and that's how she dies. And the guy turns around. This is a flashback that Epps and Katie are looking at. The guy turns around towards Katie and Epps, and guess who the fucking guy is? The guy who found the ship, quote unquote,
that wanted the crew to come look at it with them. Yeah.
Yep.
And he's like, it was me.
And we see that as he's killing the girl in the red dress, he grabs her hand and he leaves a mark on her. So he marked her. It's like a
he's
hook.
the marker.
Yeah.
And it's
He's
it looks
just
like
grabbing bitches.
and it looks like a
Yeah.
burn. So he's clearly like supernatural.
Also,
Yeah.
yeah, and by the way, this was obviously this flashback from years ago. So this
And
man
he looks
is
the same. Yeah.
So
an
he's a little
immortal being.
ghosty boy just floating around, tricking people with gold.
Correction, ghosty asshole.
Yeah. He tricks them with the gold and then ends up getting a bunch of souls for the whoever he works with, Diablo, basically.
The devil.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
then she knows this now, and she goes to find somebody on the crew who isn't dead. She
Dead.
finds, oh, that's why she ran away. She finds Murphy, and then Murphy gets yoinked by a ghost and drowned basically in a fish
Yeah.
tank.
Yeah.
So that's why she's like running away. She's scared. She runs into the little girl. The little girl shows her this flashback. And then she's like, oh my God. She goes to find the blonde guy, and she's like, Murphy's dead. And he's like, what? And then as she's being like, yes, he's dead, and basically gonna say like, the guy who showed us the ship is the evil one, the guy walks in.
Mhm.
And she's like, I'm gonna go look for our friend, the scuba diver, who's supposed to weld the ship together.
Yeah.
You guys stay here. And then the blonde guy's like, wait, weren't you just about to say it? And she goes, just stay here. Don't let each other out of each other's sight, and take this gun.
Mm-hmm.
And she like looks at the other guy suspiciously, and then goes to try and find the other guy who's scuba diving. Well, she gets all the way down there, and she sees that there's blood in the water. They did like a system where the water gets taken out so that the boat stops sinking. And she sees the blood and his body like being taken out through there, and she sees like his head
Damn.
on the floor of that room that's full of water.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
And so she's
Okay,
like,
Sabrina.
holy shit.
Well, I just want to see. It sounds like an interesting explanation. I want to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So she's like, holy shit, everyone's fucking dying. Then the blonde guy and the evil guy are together. And he's like, the evil guy's like, shouldn't we go find her? And he's like, no, stay here. She said to stay here. And then that's when he starts going off and is like, oh, you're just a little puppet. Like, you've just been in love with her this whole time, and you don't have the balls to say it. You're just this, you're just that. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. We're staying here. That's what she said.
Also, I just met you. Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
And then
literally,
you?
who cares?
he goes to move, and then Mr. Blonde Guy points a gun at him. And he's like, you wouldn't shoot me. And he's like, just don't move. We're not leaving. And then he goes to like lunge at him, being like, you're such a pussy. And then he shoots him. And we think,
Ow.
oh God, he killed the guy. Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as he's walking away to go find Epps, the evil guy is on the floor with his eyes closed. And as he walks out of the room,
He goes,
opens his eyes.
Ding. Yeah.
Clearly, he's immortal.
Classic horror movie moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't know what happens to either of them, but then eventually it cuts to Epps down in one of the lower rooms of the ship, and she's basically like, we have to blow this ship up. Like,
Yeah, we just gotta blow the whole thing.
we
That's
have
it.
to have it sink because nothing good is happening here. Like, we just have to blow it up. And he's like, the blonde guy is like, wait, that would kill us. And she's like, well, we just have to run the risk. Like,
Yeah.
we need to blow this ship up. We have to have it sink. And then he starts getting like super aggressive about it. And she's like, why haven't you asked me where our friend the scuba diver is? And he's like, he turns around and he's like, haha, and he starts laughing. He turns back around towards her, and he shapeshifts into the evil guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, because I already know, and your friend, the blonde guy, is dead. I just killed him. And then she's like, what the fuck? So she goes to like press the trigger to blow up the entire ship, and he knocks her the fuck out with like something next to her because he's magical.
Yeah.
She falls into the water in that room, and then he like dives in after her and like starts being awful to her and saying super mean shit to her and like trying to kill her basically. And she ends up harpooning him in the leg because she had a harpoon.
Okay.
Somehow we had a harpoon.
And then she like puts another harpoon thing into the gun and points at him, and he's like, what? You can't shoot me. You're not going to shoot me. And then she moves her aim because I guess she's a skilled ass sharpshooter. She aims
with a
at
harpoon.
the trigger that she ended up dropping, because he knocked her out. She ends at the trigger. She shoots. She hits the trigger. The ship blows up.
Mhm.
She doesn't die, of course. That would be equivalent.
Crazy.
Classic.
Yeah, literally the trigger is about this big. She's at least
And she said
50, 60 feet away.
She said, I got this.
Yeah. So the ship blows up.
again, Katniss Evergreen.
Evergreen. Evergreen.
Evergreen?
Evergreen. Evergreen. I kissed my penny and I threw it.
The ship blows up. The ship blows up and she starts seeing all of the ghosts basically be released. All the people who were marked.
Oh yeah, they're like
it was people who were on the boat.
He said, I'm free.
Free falling. There was people like from the ship when everyone was cut in half. It was people that like went on the ship to find the gold. Like all those people who were marked were suddenly released. And she's like treading water to go to the surface, and she sees a little girl's spirit, and the little girl kind of like disintegrates and basically like finds her light. So she moves.
Doesn't help at all.
No, she's just looking at her. But
she's
hey,
just like bye, and it's
to
like
grab her, she'd go through her. So
right.
So she swims to the surface. She ends up getting on a trunk, very
Titanic.
And she's, bobbing along in the ocean, just blew up a ship. She's the only one left surviving. And this cruise ship, like a new cruise ship, sees her, honks the horn, and like brings her on board. Then it cuts to like ambulances moving and like the ship docking, and they take her off of the cruise ship. And she's put into an ambulance, and she's facing obviously the back of the ambulance, and the ambulance doors are open. And she sees the crew from this cruise ship bringing on the gold that they somehow managed to save from the ship explosion.
Weird that it didn't sink, but okay.
They're bringing
right
on
to the bottom of the ocean
of gold. They're bringing them on the land. And then she's looking, and the last person behind all of the crew bringing on the gold was Mr. Evil Man, who marks people. He survived, obviously, because he's immortal. And she goes, no! And then the ambulance doors close, and then that's how the movie ends.
Yep.
Oh.
Mhm.
Done. And it's crazy like 90s rock music.
And I know I just zoomed through that, so we can definitely like stop at points and pick apart things and like talk about things. And Sabrina, if you have any questions, we can talk about them.
I think, I don't know if I heard you guys say it. Did you talk about how Murphy died?
I didn't really, I don't know if I wasn't paying attention or what during that point, but I know he ended up being drowned in a fish tank.
Yeah, he was holding a picture of Miss Ma'am. By Miss Ma'am, I mean like the evil immortal guy.
Mhm.
Oh, and I also didn't mention, it was a really stupid small fact, but when the guy goes through her and falls through the elevator thing, she turns back around and like her face goes away from like or whatever, and she looks like an evil, crazy, like
old lady.
Yeah, decaying moment.
But yeah, that was Ghost Ship. It was
Ghost Ship.
Actually what I expected it to be, like very 2000s. We went from point A to point B. There were some like plot twists along the way, especially towards the end. And like it ended on a cliffhanger. I was like, is there a second Ghost Ship? But there isn't.
Ship
it's
Ghost.
Just... Yeah, Ship
Ghost Cruise.
The
next one is on a the next one is on a Margaritaville cruise ship.
Oh yeah, that's for real.
Rest in peace, Jimmy Buffett.
It's Jimmy Buffett's ghost.
Oh my god, yeah, Jimmy Buffett.
Oh, R.I.P.
Evil. And the guy's name that is the bad guy, Diablo, is
John Cena.
No. Okay, Jack Ferryman.
Which?
Oh yeah, Ferryman. Hey, for a second I thought your cat
your
just
horse just neighed.
Yeah.
What? And God's green earth was that?
That was Sabrina's dog.
That was Sabrina's, new giant dog.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the end of Ghost Ship. I did zoom through that and probably got some things out of chronological order, but that's not important. They just want to.
But that's all right. We watched it, so you don't have to.
Let's talk about it. What are the things, Christian, that you liked about this movie? Like even the cheesiest things I found that I liked, that it was like cute.
I really liked like all the supernatural stuff, I would say.
I would relate it
I
to
think those were my favorite parts. What were you saying?
I would relate it to like Haunted Mansion type beat, obviously less Disney, but like where it's
Yeah,
like scary,
no.
but also like lighthearted and not like we're
Yeah,
watching The Conjuring. You know what I'm saying?
I was thinking the same thing. It was giving Haunted Mansion, but like adult, you know?
Adult Haunted Mansion,
Um,
Haunted Cruise.
Haunted Cruise, almost like it's called Ghost Ship.
right. But you know what I'm saying? Like it could be ghost ship in the way that there's ghosts in the freaking Conjuring. There's ghosts in like the Nun and stuff,
Right.
or whatever. But it wasn't that vibe. It was more of the vibe of like Haunted Mansion, but make it actually a little more spooky, a little more adult, rated R. We saw blood, we saw gore, we saw stuff go on.
We saw titties. Yeah.
So those were fun. Um, I don't know. I feel like for like personally, I feel like it's like I was cruising, haha, no pun intended, like in the middle for me, if that makes sense. Like there was parts that I really liked, and then there's other parts where I was kind of just like, okay, all right.
Mhm.
So and what's gonna happen? Um, so I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with it, kind of in the middle with it.
Kelsey, now with a more detailed explanation, did it hold up? What did you think?
I really liked it. Like I said, it didn't spook me as much as it did when I was like younger, but it's a cute little 2000s spooky movie. It gives me Final Destination type beat.
Mm,
I don't know.
Scared you when you were little? Do you remember?
The ghosts, the
Like,
fact that there just were
oh,
ghosts was scary to me. Um,
mhm.
had that
I
nice
feel
little
like
M
that
Night.
first scene is graphic for a child.
Oh, it's a lot. It's a
Yeah,
lot.
no, that was one of my favorite parts. That
Yeah.
sounds horrible, but I just thought it was so well done and it was so cool. Like I had never seen a kill like that, so I was like, oh, like it was
also-
giving. It really pulled me in. You know, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm attentive. I'm at attention. I want to see what's going on.
It was also the last thing I expected.
So yeah,
Like I was
Yeah.
not expecting.
yeah,
Saw
same.
Love great opening
I
scene.
thought
Ella.
I thought the singer was gonna die. I thought it was like the singer's gonna be like, ah, ooh, and then like something fell on her. Hey, didn't expect everyone and their mom to get sliced in half. That was insane. That was wild.
Yeah.
That was a good opening scene.
Love
So,
it.
what did you think?
Of the parts of the movie that I did watch, good. Actually, I really like the twists and turns. I think it was cool that it had so many plot twists. I think it was cool that it ended up being a guy and that he's kind of like
I
a
think
weird
you would have,
immortal guy.
if you would have been able to like see them in real time, you would have liked those little like moments. They would have got.
They sounded really cool. And
Yeah.
I was flipping through the visuals, they looked cool. Yeah, it seems like it would be a good movie, not gonna lie. Can I tell you, I was looking at the men, they are the most 90s looking motherfuckers I've ever seen in my life. Can I tell you, the poster boys for the 90s, I've never seen anyone look more like NSYNC in different fonts.
Yeah.
But
funny.
it was very cool. I'm sad. I mean, like just on a I'm sad that it ended up being like normal human greed that just got everyone. I was hoping that it was going to be Ghost that like chopped through everyone. It was like, oh no, or like an unfortunate comeuppance or something. It sucks that
Right.
but then the bullet holes made no sense. I thought that the bullet holes were going to be from like the second crew, the more modern crew, trying to like fight the ghost. I don't know, they see ghosts and they're trying, you know, like when, and sometimes movies they do that, they try to follow them with like a gun. I thought that's what that was actually going to be. So I don't know, I don't like the way
the
that
sad reality of
the sad
greed.
reality. I was like, oh, that's a really terrible, that's actually like really sad. I don't know.
I was expecting those bullet holes to be like from people who like over the years have tried to take the gold.
Oh yeah.
Like fighting each other for the gold or whatever. But it was not. It was the crew killing the guests of this Italian ship.
That's awful. I
Yeah.
don't know. What can you say? I feel like there was more creative ways that aren't so sad, but maybe like that's my 21st century taboos built in. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think it was cute though. I liked it. Okay, so what are we gonna rate Miss Ghost Ship Quarterly?
Are you gonna pull up
Um,
the? Mhm.
I'd give it
hold
I'd
on.
give it like an 8.5.
Okay.
I feel like I would watch it again. It's like I don't know, you watch it once a year type deal. I would definitely
Uh-huh.
watch it again.
Oh, I guess I should.
Um,
Nobody pay attention to the fact that. Just shut up. Okay.
okay.
It's
Um,
fine.
It's okay. It's not like there's something riding on these ratings.
Right, yeah.
Show up.
I would watch it again in a year. No jump scares, which I like a good jump scare.
Hmm.
So I'm not, that's why I don't give it something higher.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'd give it an 8.5.
Okay.
We did just film spoiler alert, we did just film the Friday the 13th episode right before this. I think it's fine to compare the two ratings as of right now. I would not watch this annually like I would Friday the 13th. Like on Friday, now that I've seen this, now that I've popped this cherry, I would, if there was another Friday the 13th, I'd be like, okay, let's watch it.
Hmm.
I want to
So
watch
then, what would
more.
your rating would be?
Yeah.
I don't feel like I should rate because I didn't finish it, but that's the input I wanted to give. I like
Okay.
Friday the 13th more. Also, I do want to weigh in that started a movement of 7 count them, 7 movies.
7
Ghost Ship
movies.
is a standalone, and I don't know if that was by choice or by the lack of popular demand.
Hmm.
Well, it tripled its like it made
Expenditure.
its money back. I looked at
Mhm.
the box office stuff.
Mhm.
It made more than they spent. So
Maybe the writers were just like,
Nah,
that's
it's good.
it doesn't
Yeah,
need
it also doesn't
it
really
doesn't
need.
it
Yeah.
doesn't
Also,
need another one.
sometimes it's appropriate to just stop it when it's good. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
Yeah.
agree.
Not
I
like
want to watch more.
some companies.
And then as you will know when we talk about in the Friday the 13th episode, sometimes do you need those other movies? Because I'm gonna tell you,
Yeah, we were confused.
stuff didn't get rolling till later.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Right.
Yeah.
so um I think I agree with Sabrina. I enjoy personally Friday the 13th more. Like I would gravitate to watch that over this if I will watch it like once a year type thing. Um, again, going with the same thing, there was parts that I really liked. There was other parts that I was just kind of like, man. So the ending really does bring it higher for me, but I would still say it's sort of towards the middle of the road. I'd maybe give it like 5.5 or 6
Hmm.
for me. Maybe a 6. I'd say a 6. A
Yeah,
solid
compared
6.
to all the other movies that I'm looking at this list, I'm like, those are more classic. But in defense of the movie that Chelsea picked, it is more off the beaten path than the movies we have on this list.
Right.
You're gonna compare Ghost Ship to what?
I mean,
Krampus and
I feel like,
Gremlins?
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like I've had more fun with some of these other ones where I would put it. That's where I would put it. You know, I would give it a 6 for me personally. But I do see that it was. I don't think it's bad. You know, it's just kind of more.
I'm
It
excited
falls
to finish it.
under what I would go for. You know,
Other
I-
ratings?
Think that
Harry?
I give it. Wow, I can't believe Van Helsing was 8 out of 10, but I'll let it go.
Yeah, I'm looking back at some of these ratings. I'm like, what crack
I
was
would.
smoking?
This
I
gave me.
get through Van Helsing. I couldn't do Van Helsing.
Can I tell
I
you?
was gonna
Sometimes we're just
say-
riding the high of hanging out
I
with
fell
each other.
asleep.
So we all just had such a good time fucking making fun of the movie or just being with each other. So
Oh,
like
well, I'm saying Van Helsing should be a 10 out of 10 because that's one of my favorite movies in the world.
no, but Krampus
I fell
or
asleep.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
we
Some
all
of these
did.
movies, I'm
But
like,
in my defense, even when we were recording Van Helsing, we were not in the mood. You know what I mean? I don't think
yeah.
dude, that was
Yeah,
an
we weren't.
impossible episode to film.
I don't think
I remember that.
we caught that movie at a good time. So
Also, I think it's our
I-
least viewed episode and the longest one we have out.
Yeah.
It dragged on, which is not to say the movie isn't good, because I think the movie is very good. I like the movie. I love Kate Beckinsale's boobies. What's not to love? But Jesus Christ. Sometimes
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was thinking about that actually while watching this one. It gave me like more the vibes of movies like Van Helsing, Crimson Peak. I couldn't say that for some reason, so I had to sing it. But I like those movies better, so that's why I'm like, I wouldn't rate it up there to like 8 status. I would put it more.
I think
6.
She's not a Krampus.
I think Van Helsing for me would have been higher. So I would give this one an 8 because I would watch it just like there would be just as much of a chance of me watching it again as like Crimson Peak, Barbarian, Rosemary's Baby. Actually, I don't know why Rosemary's Baby is 8. You guys loved it. I did not. That's probably why it's an 8.
Did I love it? I felt like it was weird. I feel like when we first started watching some of these new
think
to
it
us
was
movies, we
polar-
were generous. But
Yeah.
Well, it was also
yeah, it's okay.
polarizing.
Yeah.
Like Chelsea gave it a 10. Some of us gave it
Yeah.
lower. Like
I
think I gave it a
thought
high rating because I liked it, but y'all hated it.
Because
I
I'm
think I
trying
gave
to
it like a
kiss the
7.
devil.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was
I think I gave
that
it
was
a
one of the
7.
polarizing ones.
But I
yeah,
think I would give this one an 8. I liked it. I liked that it was like middle of the ground horror. I was saying, Sabrina, when you were gone, that it gives me Haunted Mansion if it wasn't so Disney. Like,
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
it's got its spooks. It's got its like regular
9900 whatever ghosts.
99
Yeah.
haunts.
Yeah.
So it's
999 haunts.
It's
Yeah.
a 7.5.
7.5.
7.5 Jessica Rabbit Boobaloopies.
Wow. 7.5.
I think we should call it Full Frontal Blood Pool. We don't like that one? I like it a lot.
I did, but I wasn't expecting that.
Full Frontal Blood Pool.
Well, we saw the full frontal of her boobies, and then there was a
Right.
blood pool, and I think the blood pool was cool.
Yeah.
Why are you putting it
Jessica
in
Rabbit.
title caps?
I don't know. Full frontal blood.
Blood Pool. Yeah, and that is Ghost Ship. I want to watch more from this era, like 13 Ghosts and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Because this is the era of horror that I prefer.
Really? I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Mhm. It was cute. I liked it. Wow, we've watched a lot of movies, y'all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to do an
We have.
updated thingy, but I need this document whenever you can.
Yeah,
say
yeah.
it, Harry, so I
Hocus
can make a
Pocus,
new.
9.5 yabos. That's all.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's some
So-
really Jennifer's body 10 out of 10 foes.
Toes. She got them toes.
We're
She
so
does
Still
have
dumb.
thumb
Still dumb.
toes.
Ah! Halloween
Okay.
Town, yeah. Oh my God. The Exorcist lick me. Wow. We've got some good.
Mhm.
Okay.
Like me.
Well,
so,
thank you guys so much for joining us.
Which,
on-
by the way, sorry, now that we mention it, now that you mention it, I want to see The Exorcist, the rebirth moment. So bad.
oh,
The
I
the
keep getting the
house.
trailer. I want to see it.
The house was not
Oh,
as
the
scary.
house.
I didn't think it was. I
Not
didn't.
scary?
I thought it was gonna. People said this is the worst house. This is the most intense. I didn't personally feel that way, but
Mm.
it is just. It was
Okay.
what I was telling you. It was solid walls. I was in a house. I knew when the ghosts were gonna jump out at me, and it was just 2 little girls, and they were finging knives.
Got it.
It wasn't that
I
scary.
see. But I'm excited for the movie, The Exorcist. Believer. Is that what it's called?
The
Believer.
Exorcist. Yeah, something like
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it.
that.
The Exorcist that believed in me. Yeah, I'm
Sister.
trying to see that one and Talk to Me.
Oh yeah, we have to
Those are
watch
some
that.
horror movies that I'm excited to
Talk
watch.
to Me was wild.
Damn.
I'm going to
You watched
finish
it?
The Last of Us.
I watched it. I watched it with my parents.
Yeah, I
Ooh.
assumed that was gonna
Oh
happen.
my god, how was it?
Yeah. It was good. It was good. The ending, I gotta watch a YouTube video on it because I don't understand the
It's one
ending.
of those. It's
It's
giving
one of
Gnome.
those.
It's one of those.
Giving Gnome.
It's a
But
tinker.
I watched that
But I
and I
love a
watched
tinker.
The Nun 2 with my parents
Right.
this
Yeah.
weekend. The Nun
Mhm.
2 is really good. I think you guys are gonna like it. I can't wait for it to
So
come
good.
out.
On what?
On
On a
I
streaming
mean,
service.
on
On
Netflix.
Hulu, Disney Plus, Peacock. There you go.
Yes.
Yes.
We pay for all of them.
Between the four of us, we
Yeah.
all have all of those subscriptions in some way.
Yes.
Okay, guys, wrap it up.
And
'cause
we
I gotta
don't
poop.
even share. Oh, she got to poop. All right, wrap it up, Christian.
Okay,
Say the
thank you
thing.
guys. Thank you so much for coming and joining us for the October special. Please make sure to watch this episode and of course all the rest ones. They're going to be so fun, and it's going to be especially so fun to do Halloween at the very last one, so stick around. Also, there's going to be a special treat for the very last one. We won't say much, but just wait for that.
I don't know what it is.
Thank you
It's
so
a
much
treat for me too.
Okay.
Chelsea, you should know.
Yeah.
We'll talk. Anyway, so thank you guys for listening to The Witching Hour. If you guys want to follow us on Instagram, you can follow us at The Scary Queens. That's THE, Scary Queens, just in case you didn't know how to spell that. And you guys can always find us on most podcast streaming platforms like Spotify, Overcast, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Sabrina, take it away.
It was lovely having you guys with us. Stay afraid, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.